Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Tay.
And I'm Becca.
And welcome to the channel. So today is a very special day. We have a guest on the channel who is going to talk to us a little about entrepreneurship and everything that, that involves. Today we have Mr. Conrad Dimanche with us. Most of you may already know him, but I'll let him introduce himself.
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure. My name is Conrad Dimanche. I would be considered a serial entrepreneur. Some of you may know me from my days in the music business. I spent 10 years in the music business. Left the traditional music business and started to build music technology companies. And since those days, I might be four companies in. From that point, right now, I'm the president of a e-commerce business. We sell things on Amazon as well as have a pretty cool Shopify site.
Awesome. Wow. So if you guys don't know Mr. Dimanche, look him up. He has a long rap sheet as far as his, as he said, his history in the music business, and then, the entrepreneur world, which, we're going to dive into that. Before we jump into the Q&A, we're going to highlight some articles that we found on the web. I think they were pretty cool. They touched upon some great things. And the first one is titled, "What Entrepreneurs Are Banking On in 2022?" So, Mr. Dimanche, should I call you Conrad or Mr. Dimanche?
Conrad is fine. Thank you.
All right, cool. Sounds good. As far as this first article, it mentioned that there's increasingly more people that are transitioning to globally online shopping. What are your thoughts on that? I know you said you have the e-commerce
business.
E-commerce business. We sell products, maybe about 14 SKUs on Amazon as well as a Shopify site. And I think because especially of COVID, one, online shopping has always been convenient. It's convenient. You don't have to leave your house. You get things delivered. Amazon has really revolutionized, online shopping. Most of the times you can order something and get it the next day.
Right.
You can't really beat that. I think when COVID hit us, a major pandemic and a lot of people having to just stay home, it became, way more popular. Traditionally, you have a lot of people that didn't trust shopping online. They rather do things in person and go to the mall. But when that wasn't possible, it just opened up the market, tremendously to people just getting everything delivered, even groceries now. And I think that's only gonna grow. I think once people, just touched on the convenience of it, and it's pretty reliable too. It'd be different if you were doing the shopping online and there was just a high rate of dissatisfaction in how products show up to your door. But I think, again, Amazon has really been the leader in just making it a very reliable thing. And as more people had to adopt to doing that process, and the word just spread. So I think for 2022, I totally would agree with the article. It's going to be a big thing, and it's only going to grow. Unfortunately, it just means a lot more people are not going to be interacting in malls. It seems to be just the way technology in the world is moving in that direction.
Yeah, I think also a big thing is time is money. So when you have to drive to a store that could be like 30 minutes away, that takes a lot of time up.
Absolutely.
Compared to just online shopping, you can just click a button while you're laying in bed or something.
Yeah. And time being money is an important note. That was a good thought, because anytime a company can figure out a way to make something more convenient for the consumer and save you time, you really have a good chance of succeeding. I think most people
Wow.
pay for time back, and we're literally paying for time back to do other things with our family and just whatever we want to do. It's like if I had an hour in my pocket, Tay and Becca, an hour in my pocket that I could sell to you, like you probably would buy it. Like I really could give you an hour, you know, might pay $1 for it, you know. Well, but if you think about it in that way, it's a really convenient thing to just be able to shop as long as it's reliable. That's the thing, and it seems to be working out fine.
Wow. Yeah, no, both of you brought up good points about time, and I think that's foreshadowing you know, for some other things we're going to talk about in the video, because I mean, I personally think that time is very important, and that goes along with the great resignation that we've seen. I think in 2021, if I'm not mistaken, millions of people left their jobs for multiple reasons, but I think one of those reasons was because a lot of people, their time is extremely valuable to them. It's one out of many reasons, but we can dive into that a little bit more once we get into like the Q&A.
Okay.
But another thing that was mentioned in the article, it spoke about real estate a little. We're slowly sticking our feet into the real estate market, but it mentioned that investing in commercial real estate and diversification will be very profitable. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Now commercial real estate, my question was about that in my mind when I was reading it, is did they mean commercial real estate? Because there's two ways. Commercial real estate could be an apartment building. I would, you know, if I was into real estate, I would lean that way because of the same trend that we're talking about with people shopping online. You know, commercial real estate could also be looked at as, you know, what do you call, like the little malls, strip malls, you know, with stores in it, or commercial real estate for businesses, you know, maybe because I see in the long term the stores kind of going away because everyone is shopping online, obviously.
Wow.
You know, so if I was doing real estate, I probably would shy away from that and more so commercial buildings in terms of apartment buildings or multifamily units for people needing somewhere to live. Office space is something different, though. I think, you know, businesses operating, you need office spaces, but you also have a lot of shared office space and big companies that's creating these shared office space ecosystems where it's a lot cheaper, you know, to operate, and the rent is lower. So it was a great article, but those are the only things that I was thinking about and questioned.
Those are great points.
Yeah, I think it also mentioned one part of real estate is farming too. So people are starting to get more into farming because what we saw through the pandemic was people still need food, they still need water and those essentials. So like that's never going to go away. So you obviously need farming land for that. So
Absolutely.
that's something that people are looking into.
Word. No, that's a good point. And for all of you entrepreneurs out there, I mean, there's so many opportunities out there. And as Becca said, farming, I mean, if that's your jam, like you could make some money out of that. So
absolutely,
you know, go forth and do great things.
And eat some healthy food.
Yes.
Hell yeah. I mean, for us, I mean, I love plants, and eventually we would like to, you know, grow some herbs.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much dig too deep into the whole farming thing, but you know, without a doubt, herbs for sure. But moving forward, what's the next point that we have from this article?
So the next point, it said that 2022 is the year of the Metaverse.
Ooh, that's a good one. What are your thoughts? I mean, so yes, the Metaverse, crypto, like, what are your thoughts on that, and how, you know, can you look at that from an entrepreneur standpoint?
I mean, my thoughts is I've immersed myself in that world, studying and reading as much that I can about it to fully grasp it. And yeah, I do agree. It's like Web 3 is upon us, It's developing. It's the early days, and there's just so many opportunities as it develops. And if an entrepreneur can also grasp understanding and understand where it's going, then it provides for great opportunity to build platforms that can facilitate everything that's going to happen in the web.
Wow.
World, Metaverse, involving crypto and NFTs. Crypto is only becoming more popular. NFTs, I was just looking for the month of January. So we're not even out of January. And there have been it hit 6 billion transactions, in January alone. And we're not done with January. So just the volume and the adoption rate of crypto along with NFTs is mind-blowing, the amount of people that are really getting into it. And it's good reason. I think it's really cool stuff when you talk about having digital assets. In terms of crypto, I really think it's a much more democratized monetary system. A lot of people see it as freedom, freedom from all of the manipulation that happens, when it comes to money and business, because a lot of it is essentially decentralized and in the hands of the people and controlled by the people. So I'm super excited about it. And who knows, I'm thinking and mulling over different ideas in terms of businesses myself involving Metaverse, NFTs, cryptos, and things like that.
Right.
Yeah. So what would you say to people who are kind of against it? Like, no, we need things in person. Like, we don't want to just get rid of all our interaction. And also a second part to that is the people who think it's super risky and they're maybe scared to get started and get their feet wet into the metaverse crypto world. Yeah,
well, I would say that I understand their point for sure. Anytime, things are new, it's going to take time for it all to get right. Crypto, can be risky. You can get hacked. The point in terms of social interaction, I think, is important also. And we don't want to do away with that as humans. But at the same time, when it comes to technology, you kind of have to adapt to it. These are the type of things like to fight it or to say like you're not going to be involved. You're not going to deal with crypto or the metaverse. I think everyone has their personal, opinion, and it's your prerogative to do that if that's the case. Now, if you're an entrepreneur and that's your stance, I think it just limits you, in terms of earning potential and opportunity.
Right.
When it comes to us, each individuals, and trying to, if you're an entrepreneur, gain some wealth, it's very important that, number one, crypto is a fact. Crypto has been the top yielding asset class for about 10 years, so when it comes to try building wealth for you and your family, any entrepreneur or individual, it's my opinion, it's just wise to at least focus a portion of your portfolio on what is the top yielding asset class. Be it more risky, you just have to manage the risk in what percentage of your portfolio you put towards that. But again, it's your option, everyone's option. If you don't want to deal with it at all, great. It's something that's here to stay. It's going to move in 10, 15 years from now. I don't think anyone's going to have a choice. You're going to have to get in it, or really just be left behind.
For sure, because the adoption is here with crypto. We're not going to go too deep into the crypto stuff, but I mean, the adoption is here, and as you previously stated, crypto is here to stay. And then we're talking about NFTs and the metaverse. I think I read online that you have a course as well.
Yes. Being that I was, history in the music business, and I've been studying NFTs for almost a year. I did some NFTs myself and posted them online, and it got, a tremendous response from specifically the artist community. So I decided to put together a course on how to turn your music into NFTs, some different strategies on marketing your NFTs, because a lot of artists I saw just might have vaguely heard of it, but really had no clue on what it really is, what it involves, and more importantly, the process of turning their music into NFTs and how it can benefit them. So I put together a masterclass about that, which has been pretty cool. So
wow, super inspiring, and man, that gives us some great ideas as far as maybe starting our own courses. But hey, guys, check out Conrad's course below. We'll drop that link. But moving forward, we have one other article and one point with that article, one talking point, which is let me pull up my handy dandy notes. So venture, and this kind of ties back to the first article, but venture capitalists helped bore 43 unicorn companies valued at 1 billion or higher in the crypto space in 2021. Which, I mean, for me, that's mind blowing. 1 billion, that's a lot of money. And, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I think it really supports what we're talking about when it comes to VCs, venture capitalists. I'm very familiar with them and the structure of their business, and they have investors and they have limited partners that for them, and this is something we're starting to see it with hedge funds also getting into cryptos and NFTs. But for venture capitalists, for them, it's very important for them to bring the highest yield as possible to their investors and their limited partners. So it only makes sense for them to go into the crypto space and NFT space, because that's where the money is at right now. That's where the biggest returns are right now. So they're gonna, allocate a certain portion of their fund to crypto related businesses, and that also it ties to the other article in terms of the opportunity in the crypto metaverse space, because you have these VCs that want to pump hundreds of millions. They have to pump hundreds of millions. Their job is to deploy capital for entrepreneurs and founders with great ideas. So it's just opportunity, and it's easier to get money if you have a great idea that's dealing, anywhere in the metaverse, crypto world, NFT world, platforms as it develops. It's super hot right now, and they're going to grab anything that they can. That's their job to do.
Wow.
Yeah, I would say I think a moral of this story is to do your research within this field, because it's only going to continue to keep increasing and more adoption will be added to this. So I think, like your point before, you don't want to get left behind. So I think there's a lot to be made here in 2022 within this world.
With any opportunity, I mean, as far as crypto, NFTs, the metaverse, real estate, and correct me if I'm wrong, Conrad, but when it comes to entrepreneurship, one of maybe I don't know if I want to call it a pillar, but one of the things about entrepreneurship is you need to know how to take opportunities. And I think crypto, the metaverse, etc., it's a huge opportunity for entrepreneurs.
Absolutely, and timing, is important when it comes to opportunities. Is being ready, being prepared, and part of that is just understanding and doing your research to be prepared when opportunity knocks.
Hell yeah.
Great
Words
point.
words from the wise. You all heard it on this channel. Hey, and by the way, if you haven't already done so, like and subscribe. Don't care if you tickle, tackle, do whatever to that like button, but show us some love. Hey, so
show them some love.
Appreciate it, Conrad. Hey, so do we want to jump into the Q&A? What do you guys think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, cool.
Right. So the first question we have is, which of the following are some of your everyday habits?
I would say top thing is just trying to learn something every day. I do a lot of research, a lot of articles, and a lot of different topics, everything that I'm interested. A lot of product research for my e-commerce business. A lot of research in the NFT Metaverse world. Continuously, trying to keep up. And personally, I believe in like watching the leaders of spaces, to kind of better understand where I need to be focused on, the Jeff Bezos of the world. We talked about Amazon, the Zuckerbergs, even Elon Musk, with his crazy self, but really paying attention to what these guys are doing. So that's part of my daily thing, it's just trying to learn as much as I can every day. A lot of that happens in mornings and evenings. I start and end my day like that. It's just quiet time, articles, and just scouring the internet to see what new stuff I could come up against.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a great point. Being a lifetime learner.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. I mean, that's one of my mottos, being a lifetime learner, for sure. Wow, great points. So the second question, and it's actually a two-part question that we have for you. So which of your failures were the most meaningful, and what did you learn from them? And then also, what factors contribute to an entrepreneur's success?
Which of my failures was the most meaningful? That's actually a tough question, because you know what? I think it's not much of a straightforward thing. I see so much value in so many failures, and I really, even the word failure to me, I just see it more as a journey and lessons from things not working out, which helps every step of the way with the next venture. And me being at this point and just growing wiser from those failures. So I don't know if I could necessarily put my finger on one specific incident, or failure. But when I do look back at, all the different things I've done in business, literally from the age of 18, like I counted, and in terms of official businesses, I've had about 13 since the age of 18. And that doesn't even include a lot of just side things that I've done. It might be, 30 in total, but I just look back, and it all, helped me get to this point, and still learning and still failing. I kind of look forward to a failure because I know it produces jewels that help moving forward.
Wow. Yeah. That goes back to the first question.
Yeah.
Being a lifetime learner.
Yeah, turn your failures into a learning opportunity.
Absolutely.
That's a great way to look at it. So, because you could being an entrepreneur trying to get into things, you could get discouraged when you're failing. So I think turning that around and turning it into a positive thing and into a learning opportunity is a great way to look at it.
It's paramount. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
All right. Question number 3. What advice would you provide to someone beginning a business for the first time?
I think the best advice is to begin. The mistake that a lot of entrepreneurs do is just sit on the fence for too long. And doing research is great. But there's a fine line to, just research and procrastination as well, and sometimes the best experience and builder of your business is actually, starting with it not being perfect and going through the experience and learning through some failures and some mistakes. Hopefully they're not catastrophic that destroys the business, but I believe that an entrepreneur will get a lot further by just starting and making some mistakes, as long as you're moving forward and you don't give up, rather than just sitting on an idea. Granted, now, sometimes not moving forward, because not every idea is a great idea. So sometimes it's like you have like really sucky ideas. I have had plenty of crap ideas. So sometimes some things you're not going to move forward, and it's cool to ponder on it. But that's why I say it's a fine line, you know. But if you feel it in your gut that this is a good one, I think just starting is the key, and try to, navigate as you go. It's the entrepreneur way. Like there is no like rule book number one. There is no one way number two. You kind of have to figure it out as you go. It's the gift and the curse. It's exciting and frustrating at the same time. But it's also extremely, extremely rewarding. But starting, that's the answer.
Yeah.
Wow. Great point.
Yeah. So, I mean, for all of you entrepreneurs out there, I mean, you heard it, like just getting started. That's essentially what you need to do, which, once again, that inspires us because we have a bunch of ideas, but I think we need to just go ahead and get started.
And do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just listen to your gut, guys. Listen, your gut will tell you. Listen to your gut. Sometimes it's a great idea, sometimes not so much so, but your gut will tell you.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So my next question for you is, for starters, did you get a college degree? And would you recommend it to someone who desires to be an entrepreneur, but they're on the fence about college?
Yeah, I think that's such an individual, choice to make. For myself, I never completed college. I started college and what's funny is that I typically did pretty good in school. I just felt like for me, college led to just working. That's what education is amazing. It's great to have education, and a formal education. Is nothing wrong with a formal education either. I'm just such a hardcore business person and entrepreneur. I kind of started to feel like it wasn't really for me, so no, I didn't finish college. Would I suggest it? I think that's up to each individual person, because I think it really depends on what you're studying also. Let me say that's very important, because there's degrees that you can get, that would really help you as an entrepreneur. For example, if you wanted to get an accounting degree just to help you to keep up with your own books and save money, it makes all the sense in the world, or you wanted to start an accounting firm, for example. Getting that degree, work in a firm for a little while, learn the ropes, and then go off and do it. Things like that makes all the sense of the world. So I really think it comes down to each entrepreneur's plan, and you got to kind of have a plan, of what you want to do, what you want things to, in terms of what kind of businesses in your path as an entrepreneur, and it could be easier to make that decision.
Wow. That's a good one. And I think, like, as far as the times that we're living in, 21st century, like, there's a thing called Edtech. And, you, like Conrad, you said you have a course. Like, you go online and learn literally anything and everything. And, I'll just mention YouTube. All of my friends.
University.
There we go. YouTube University. So, I mean, I personally went to school. I got a degree. Rebecca did as well. But, if I knew what I know now, I personally would have used the resources available to me, the internet, right? So I think those are great points for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we have one more question.
Yeah, so our last question is, when did you realize that you desired a career as an entrepreneur?
For me, I started young. Like I said, first official business was at 18. Interesting for me growing up is I had like a great contrast in my parents. I think it lit a fire for me as an entrepreneur. Now, my dad was extremely educated. I come from Haitian immigrants, and my dad back in Haiti was a lawyer. Then they didn't make money, like lawyers make money here. But when my mom and my dad came to America, he re-educated himself, had a master and above, and spoke several languages. He was the highly educated one out of my two parents. And I saw him work a job. He had a small translating business because he spoke several languages. He would translate like legal documents for other immigrants. But he was mostly a working man. He was a teacher and taught bilingual languages. But on the other hand, you have my mother, who did not have a traditional college education. She did hair, and she started her own beauty salon. So I literally watched the two of them growing up and just saw the contrast and realized my dad and his stable but more formal, formulated earning potential, and saw my mom and my mom worked way more hours than my dad, mind you, but I saw that her earning potential was limitless. Granted, she was a beautician and had her own hair salon, but I really think it lit a fire, in me. Hence, I started cutting hair probably at the age of 15. And before I knew it, I was cutting all the guys on the block hair. That was like my introduction to being an entrepreneur. And then I had my first barbershop at 19 years old. First started working in my mom's beauty salon, just sweeping up, for tips and little things like that. And then taught myself how to cut hair. She helped me get my first barbershop at 19 years old, which I was too young, too immature. And it only lasted about, I think, 6 to 8 months. And my partner ran off with some of the rent money, and we ended up closing down. But a few years later, started another bigger barbershop. But really, my mom kind of lit the fire in me, which is ironic because she always was super patience, and education is extremely important. And it's ironic that she lit the fire in me to be an entrepreneur, but always wanted me to finish and get as much degrees as possible. So it's funny, but I just had a great contrast, and the seeing the limitlessness of being an entrepreneur is what excited me, and not having a cap on a salary and things like that. But that was my start and what got me here to this point.
Wow. That's amazing.
It's amazing, and it's also crazy because it seems like it's, I guess, in your blood, right? And you're from New York, right?
Absolutely.
From New York as well. So, it's kind of I guess it's a New York thing, right?
Natural hustler mentality from New York. You have to have that.
Yeah.
But we shout out to everyone from everywhere else,
Word. Okay. Wow. So powerful words from Conrad, and I'll cut the crap. This is my dad. Surprise.
So proud of you.
Blood. It is in the blood.
I love what you guys are doing. So proud of you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we thought it'd be funny to do that. But we're gonna go ahead and finish this off. And I think the last thing is what are your 4 biggest tips that you would give for all of those people who either want to jump into it but they're not sure, or even those people who are currently entrepreneurs? 4 biggest, or 3.
Okay, yeah. For one, to reiterate, I think starting is very important. Doing your research and starting, it doesn't mean to rush into something. Just you take your time with it. That's a balance, but just start. Second is, don't be afraid to pivot. And that's the beauty of starting. Pivot is like a change in direction. You may have this great granular master plan in your mind. You have to understand that a lot of big businesses have had to pivot. Even the Twitters, the Instagrams, they pivoted as they went. You have to stay agile and nimble when you're trying to build a business. Don't get married to one idea. What it starts out to be, it may change, but you have to stay flexible, in your mind, to allow that change. Don't fight it if the energy seems to be, this is not really the right direction and I need to move. I think the third is just really stay persistent. Entrepreneurship is by definition, it's assuming more risk, so it takes resilience and persistence. So you gotta go hard at it, and you just can't give up. That's like really the best thing. I truly believe if you don't give up and stay persistent, through the process of learning and failures and correcting, your mistakes, and you could only get better. So if you don't give up, every failure leads you closer to succeeding. As long as you don't give up, but you're guaranteed to fail if you give up.
Yeah, I think that's some great points. When you said taking risks, there's a lot of risk with starting an entrepreneurship and getting into entrepreneurship, but then also you get to experience and have so much reward also at the end too.
Yeah, absolutely big rewards. I mean, throughout history, the merchant class, the business owners, even throughout economic turmoil, it's the merchant class that always survives. So again, it's amazing what you guys are doing, because it really helps. One, give diversity or help diversify your revenue and income outside of just working. You guys doing real estate, but for any entrepreneur, and it's important to note, you could dabble with entrepreneurship, and hold. You don't have to choose one or the other. You can have your job and also have a side business, so there are options that gives you diversification in revenue, and in case something goes wrong with your job, you have income. In case something goes wrong with your business, you have your job. So I think those are things to, you don't have to choose either side, and maybe you start out with both, and at some point, you leave your job and focus more on your business, or vice versa.
Wow.
Nice.
Great points. And, we're going to take that with us, throw it in our toolkit. And I hope all of you out there will put these tips in your toolkit. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it.
Thanks, guys, for having me. This is a great show, and you got to tune in, like, smash, tickle it, and check out Becca and Tay. Pretty cool.
Word.
Thank you.
Hey, well, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in with us. Stay safe and be blessed. Peace.
Peace.